Hey everybody, I'm Meghan Ziemba from Mavens of Manufacturing, and I'm still hanging out at the NPE Plastic Show. This is day 3, and I'm super excited because I have Tania Ferlin with me today. She is the Global Manager of Communications and Environmental, Social, and Governance, ESG. We love our acronyms at Husky Technologies. Hello Tania, how are you?
Hi Megan, I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited because I'm going to swing by your booth because you just told me you're doing tours there. So
Yes.
Really excited about that. Well, I want to get talking about FLIP, which is the Future Leader in Plastics organization. Can you tell me a little bit more about that organization and how it's shaping the next generation of leaders in the plastics industry?
Yeah, absolutely. FLIP is an amazing group that is part of the Plastics Industry Association, dedicated to really encouraging and inspiring the next generation of leaders to grow and develop their careers in the plastics industry, which is vast, and there are many opportunities, but it's really focused on those people that are under the age of 40 to consider a career in plastics, and if you're already in the plastics industry, to network, develop your professional and personal skills to continue growing, and it's a really great group.
So you mentioned before that this is your second year at Husky, so how has the group been for you entering into the plastics industry? Because you weren't in this industry before.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so it's been really great. I've tried to get involved with as many FLIP events as possible. Some are virtual, some are in person alongside the Plastics Industry Association meetings. And when I first joined the industry, I joined first more virtual events.
Okay.
And I realized it's a really, really supportive community of fellow youngish people. And so for me, it was a really welcoming environment that I think all people entering into the industry should at least get connected to FLIP, learn about it, and I'm now the co-chair of FLIP, so I always encourage young people in the industry to get involved.
So you were talking about a little bit about how it's helping people become leaders and stuff. So what actually inspired you to get involved with it and be, the chair? Because that's kind of a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, for sure. But I started out first attending the continuing education session. So within FLIP, there are kind of different subgroups. So there's continuing education, there's community engagement, and a few others. And for me, I was really passionate about the continuing education, where we host book clubs, or even watch a video together, like a TED Talk, and then discuss. And it's really meaningful and a safe space to have conversations with fellow future leaders in the industry. So it was just something that I realized we should be promoting a lot more within all of the companies that make up the plastics industry. So I thought the opportunity came up to lead as co-chair alongside Tom McGuire, the chair of FLIP. So it's been really rewarding.
Now, it's not just here in the United States, though. It's an international organization, correct?
So it's focused mostly in North America, okay. But yeah, there are definitely opportunities for all to get involved.
So then, one of the things about plastics, I think there's a lot of misconceptions around the plastics industry, because I feel like that video or that photo of the turtle with the straw stuck in his nose, really affected how people view plastics. But if you think about it, they're all over the place. Everything that we have and we use has some sort of plastic in it. So what are some of the common misconceptions you've heard about plastics, and how does your organization work to kind of address those misconceptions and get people more comfortable about having conversations around plastics?
Sure, Megan. So you hit on the number one misconception, and that's that plastics are destroying the environment. There's a very negative perception and an emotional reaction, because no one wants to see any wildlife or any part of our natural, beautiful environment that we should be protecting and preserving be damaged or polluted in any way. And yes, plastic pollution is a problem, but the solution lies in embracing a circular economy. And what that means is keeping the materials in a circular loop so that they're reused over and over again. And so that's one thing that we try to use at Husky to promote and innovate through our technologies, to use more recycled material to inspire the whole industry to move towards more sustainable solutions of designing for recycling, designing for circularity, keeping plastics out of the environment. And just to go back to the misconception piece, a lot of people think that plastic as a material is not a sustainable material. When we think about bottles, for example, like a water bottle, you have the option of PET plastic, which is the number one plastic, or some other materials such as glass or aluminum. Some people think that those other materials are the more sustainable option, but if you look at it holistically through what's called a life cycle assessment, and looking at how much energy does the product or the package use in its production, how much water usage in the production of that product does it use, the greenhouse gas emissions as well with the production and the even transportation of all of those items. So if you think about a PET bottle, I should have brought a prop, it's much lighter than a glass bottle, for example. And it actually has a much lower carbon footprint than those other packaging materials. So if we talk about climate change and wanting to make a positive impact on the environment, the PET bottle, the number one type of plastic, is actually the best solution. We just have to recycle it. And even recycling, it's the most, PET is the most recycled type of plastic in the world. And it's easily recycled, and you can recycle that back and over again. So that's something that I didn't realize before I joined the plastics industry, that like, wow, number one, the industry is innovating for sustainability, but number two, that plastics is not the evil that it's made out to be. It's not the villain. In fact, it's often the hero that we don't realize. And like you said, so many essential parts of our lives are enabled through plastic, from the clothes we wear, the carpet under our feet, and even the shoes. And even if you think about different industries, so food and beverage, plastics preserve and protect that food and the beverages that billions of people around the world rely on, especially in medical as well. The healthcare industry relies on plastics if we think about all of the medical devices. So it's, for me, I'm really proud to be working in the plastics industry now that I've learned that it's actually an incredible material that contributes to sustainability once it's managed appropriately.
And the innovation that seems to be happening in this industry too, especially towards sustainability, is just amazing. So circular economy has been like one of the buzzwords around here. So I appreciate that you explained that, because I was just like, what does that mean, and how does it affect the way that we're using plastic? So it's really interesting. The environmental, social, and governance factors, or ESG, are increasingly important for businesses today. So how does Husky Technologies prioritize ESG considerations in operations, and what sort of initiatives or strategies are you implementing to enhance sustainability and social responsibility? Because there's that conversation, right, around reducing your carbon footprint. So what are you specifically doing within your company?
Sure. So the way that we approached ESG at Husky is, again, through a more holistic lens. So we looked at what are those key areas or topics that we could make the biggest impact in. And we looked at so those are called material topics in the realm of ESG. And the top three ones are circular economy, and how through our people drive the innovation to enable the circular economy. So those are kind of our three main ESG pillars. Within that, there are other topics such as reducing our greenhouse gas emissions, and a few other topics. We published our second ESG report last year, and we're working on our third one, and it encompasses all of our commitments and progress towards that. But the biggest impact that we can make is through our innovation that enables the circular economy. And going back to the circular economy being that loop, keeping materials out of the environment, using them over and over again. Well, at Husky, as a technology provider, we provide the services and the machinery and the molds that are used in a lot of the essential goods market. So the food and beverage, like bottles, and then medical as well. So our machines can run up to 100% recycled material. So you can have a bottle made of 100% recycled material. And that's something that engineering-wise is not the easiest task to achieve, but our teams are committed to sustainability and to enabling the circular economy through our technology. So that's one key part there, but there are many others within our ESG report. It's like a 40-page document, so I encourage you to just take a look for more info.
So then how do you see the role of technology and innovation driving sustainability and addressing environmental challenges within the plastic industry, and what sort of advancements do you anticipate in the near future? Because there's a lot of innovation going on here around the show, and it's just really exciting to see. So what do you anticipate happening?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I mentioned that our machines can run up to 100% recycled material. So that's not a new innovation. We have customers that have been creating water bottles out of 100% recycled material for over a decade. We would like to see more customers do that, and we are working closely with our customers to use more recycled material, which is certainly a really important element to the sustainability of the plastics that we use. But there are other things that are coming down the pipeline that we're really excited about, some of them that we're featuring at our NPE booth this week. So I mentioned earlier designing for circularity, designing for recyclability. So how do we make a package out of plastic that is easier to be recycled? So one thing that we've been doing is having a bottle that's made out of 100% PET plastic. So if you take your regular beverage bottle, it's often made from PET, the bottle, and then the cap is a different material. It's a different type of plastic. It all gets recycled once you put it in, once it goes through recycling and put it in your recycling bin. But a package that is made of one material is much easier to recycle. So we've innovated to create a PET cap. So if anyone's in the plastic space, they'll recognize this as quite an engineering feat. So a mono material package, one material, the bottle, the cap, all of it is made of PET. So that's one thing. And then there are a few others, like even a label-less bottle. So a bottle without the paper, without the adhesives, that it'll, again, just designing for recyclability. That's another innovation. And then the last one I'll mention is the use of bioresins. So bio-based resins to create plastic products, and biodegradable resins as well. Looking at what type of material makes the most sense for the application, but there's a lot that the industry is doing to innovate towards sustainability, looking at different materials like bioresins, like I said, designing for recyclability to make sure that the material that's collected can get recycled over and over again in the easiest way possible. So I'm really excited to be part of it and to continue seeing what else the industry innovates towards.
That's awesome. Well, Tania, I want to thank you for taking time, because I know you got a really busy week ahead of you still, because it's only Wednesday, so there's 2 more days. But I want to ask you one final question before I let you go. If you had one ask for our audience, what would your big ask be for them?
I would say learn the facts around plastics. Don't believe everything that you hear that is negative. There's actually a lot of facts and science behind a lot of the claims that maybe are not as popular, like the fact that plastics are a sustainable solution. Be curious and question those things, like I did when I first joined Husky, and I realized that the industry is innovating towards sustainability, and it's a really exciting space. So, sorry, I'll give 2 things. One is think about the information that may be presented as more of that emotional pull, but maybe question that a little bit. Like, is that true? And the second thing is, if any one of your listeners is interested in making a positive difference in the realm of sustainability, the plastics industry is the place to be. We have an incredible opportunity to make a positive impact, and we have so many innovative companies, and I'm really proud that at Husky we're one of them. But I would encourage your listeners to think about careers in the plastics industry, because it's a really incredible space to be in.
I think it would be a perfect space for Gen Z, because they're really, really passionate about sustainability and like keeping the environment safe. So
totally.
Thank you so much, Tania. I really appreciate your time. To anyone tuning in, if you've never been to the NPE Plastics Show, please think about coming in 3 years from now, because it will be again in 2027. If you were someone like me who kind of cringed when you heard the word plastic, this show will definitely change your mind, because as Tania mentioned before, there's a lot of innovation around sustainability, and just, yeah, it's just an amazing show. I can't even describe it in words. So thank you for tuning in this episode here at the NPE Plastics Show. I'm Meghan Ziemba, host of Mavens of Manufacturing, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.